Welcome to Talk Pro to Me, the podcast where we talk about our passion, the purpose, and the paths that led us to the professional remodeling organization, Pro. We are excited you're here. I'm Sarah Waters. I'm your host. Now let's build something great. This episode is brought to you by Signovation, where brands show up and win. Hi, everyone. Welcome, Sadie. We're excited to have Sadie Anderson with CKF. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
And first podcast, you said?
Yes.
Awesome.
I don't do this too often now.
It's going to be fantastic. What is your role at CKF?
I am our vice president of marketing and design, so I oversee our marketing team and then our designers across all our locations.
And what's your background? How'd you get into that?
So I went to Kearney and I have my degree in interior design. And it's really funny because we had a professional practice class in college and we had to have an email mentor. And my email mentor was actually at CKF. It was someone there. Yeah. And my dad had worked across the street from them. And he'd always told me like, oh, there's a lot of Kearney people there. You should go there. So I always kind of had that in the back of my mind. And after college, I worked a few different places and then saw a posting for CKF for a cabinet designer come up. And I applied for it. I didn't really know anything about cabinets or anything about kitchen design and just started.
And how long have you been with CKF?
13 years. I'll be my 14th year this year.
14th year. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Time flies though, doesn't it?
Oh yeah.
Tell us a bit about what you guys offer at CKF in terms of services and product.
Yeah. So we only sell two things, cabinets and countertops. It's what we're really good at. We've tried a few different products over the years and we just found that cabinets and countertops is really our jam. And so we also fabricate countertops for all 5 of our locations at our fabrication facilities. Right here in Omaha, it's actually going through a huge remodel. We're getting all new equipment, so we'll be more automated, and it's all Breton, so it'll be the best of the best.
You guys really do have an amazing space. We've been there several times in your space as a pro group, and in April 22nd, we're also hosting quite a few groups. Who's all going to be there?
Yeah, we have ASAD, NKBA, Omaha Pro, so it should be a really, really fun event.
If you guys don't have something going on, it's a great night to come kick off our tour and meet and mingle with several designers and contractors. What is really awesome about what you do is customer experience, right? Mm-hmm. How do you ensure it's open to customer and just contractor or both?
Yeah. Everybody, we're open to the public, so we get a lot of professional customers. In Omaha especially, we also have a lot of retail walk-ins too.
So you can, if someone's coming in as a homeowner and like, hey, we want this project, do you do the contracting work as well, or do you help connect it with the contractor for the install part?
Yep, we'll connect them. The only thing we do is we'll install cabinets and countertops. We don't do any of the demo or construction or anything like that. We leave that to the experts.
But what's important to make that experience a positive one for a customer coming in?
Yeah, I think for us, it's just remembering that, this is a really personal space that we get to work on. And it's where our customers spend a bulk of their lives, in their kitchen. It's the heart of the home. And so we just try to make the experience really special and customized and personal to them. And just remember that we are creating, a once in a lifetime purchase most of the time for people.
There's such a difference between like spec product and custom, right? Mm-hmm. What has been the best experience working with someone? What's been one of the coolest projects you've done?
And I don't work directly with clients as much anymore. But when I was designing, I really, really loved working on new construction just because you could really, make that space what they were truly dreaming of. You didn't have to worry about working around existing plumbing or walls or things like that. So just, working with a new construction client is really, really fun because you just have a little more freedom.
Yeah. What has on the tail end, what's been one of the most difficult experiences you've had?
With a remodel, there are so many things that can go wrong. If you forget one little measurement, that might throw everything off. Or if you think you can move something and you can't move something, they're living in the remodel. And so that's really stressful. Remodels definitely are rewarding, but also very challenging.
What do you think for a consumer going in renovations? What do you think is really important for them to understand on the expectations wise?
Yeah, timeline. We all see HGTV. We all see, Instagram. They snap their fingers and it goes from, chaos to a perfect kitchen. And, it's not like that. It takes months and months. The cabinets themselves might take a month or 2 to come in. Countertops, we have to template. And so a lot of people think you can just put your countertops in right after your cabinets are installed. And that's not the case. It could be another, 2 to 4 weeks to get the countertops installed. So just having a realistic mindset for the time frame.
And understanding on all ends that sometimes you have no control over those delays of product. Have you seen impact from tariff or cost increases that have impacted a project?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. The tariffs especially have been really, really
Yeah.
challenging this past year. It ran me a lot of during COVID when we were having price increases. It was like every week we had it's going 3%, another 3%, another 3%. And as a company, you can only absorb so much.
What do you think? I mean, when it comes to that kind of stuff, what communication is key, right? Like as a consumer, I think it's really important to make sure you're asking the questions on what time, like what budget changes can look like. I think they say on average, anticipate 12 to 20% increase from what your original starting point is. Do you find that to be pretty accurate? Like there's typically some increases they maybe don't anticipate.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Especially with those remodel projects, things come up and, you have to expect the unexpected and make sure you always have a contingency budget.
What do you think is the biggest misconception even contractors or remodelers have about working on a project with someone like yourself?
A lot of people would think we'll do the entire thing. They think that we are a general contractor. That's a really big misconception with us. We just supply the cabinets and countertops, and that's what we do. That's what we're good at, and we leave the rest up to the construction experts.
Makes sense. Yeah. When it comes to your showroom, you guys have amazing space. You have a very large space, lots of product. What do you think sets aside an amazing showroom experience to just one that maybe isn't as impactful?
So one thing you'll notice in all of our showrooms, as opposed to maybe if you go to a different countertop supplier, we're not going to have just towers of random countertop samples. Everything that we show in our showroom is really purposeful and curated. We try to have realistic life-size displays, but also working displays. So they're not going to be a perfect kitchen. There might be different door sizes or different functionalities that we try to show. So I think that really helps set us apart and make sure that, the displays are varied.
What are some really cool new elements or features that are being introduced in the design side that you think is really trendy right now?
Well, we're all really excited to see wood tones come back. Finally,
Yes.
The white painted shaker cabinet is still a top seller. But we are starting to see more of the wood tones, more of the reeded doors. Oak is back.
What are some easy updates that, cost can be a factor? What are some things someone can do to elevate their kitchen or bathroom or whatever it might be without breaking the budget?
Yeah, countertop replacement is something that's really easy and that can really update a space really, really quickly.
So I know there's some changes in code with pop-ups on the island and electric setups. What does that entail?
Yeah, there's a lot of dramatics over this new rule. You can't have outlets in the sides of islands. You have to have like a pop-up outlet. So now you're having to drill into your beautiful island countertop a hole to put an outlet that might pop up or down.
What about electronic? I know that's huge. I mean, we just put a port in to plug our phones into. Is that are there different features for that?
Yeah, and we actually have, I don't know if you've seen our free power charging unit. We actually route under a wireless charger into the countertop. And that has a little light that goes around it. So that's something that's been really exciting. Because generally kitchens, we're not like super high tech. So when we do get some tech that we can integrate, it's really, really exciting.
Good things to know. And what does it look like start to finish? If someone walks in and they're like, hey, we want to redo our kitchen or at least evaluate it, how does that process look?
Yeah, so we have a dedicated team that works just with retail walk-in customers. Cool. So they'll usually, they're really good at explaining the process, making sure they have selected a contractor. They'll go and measure the space, and then they'll work with them on a design.
What would be 3 key elements that you would tell a consumer when they're looking for a contractor?
Oh, gosh. I would ask for references, and I would want to see some previous work, and then I would want a really good contract.
Good contracts, licensed, insured,
and bonded, yeah.
Yes, absolutely. When it comes to the marketing side, what do you think are absolutely things that people today in your field need to do to stay relevant in the industry?
Oh, gosh. I mean, you have to be on Instagram in this industry, especially. That's where a lot of our customers are, and that's where we focus a lot of our effort to is social media. We're also a little unique in that, we're not always marketing to the public. Most of our business is professional contractors. And so that's where we like to be really involved with professional organizations. And, we'll do a lot that way.
What do you think is the biggest misconception in the networking industry where people think maybe they need to know going into that or joining a trade association like a pro? What do you think is the biggest misconception they have going into networking?
Probably that this isn't for me.
Sure.
And that, it can be really scary if you're new to an organization, if you've never been to anything before, it can be kind of intimidating to go in and, especially when people know each other. But, That's one of the things I've really loved about Pro is everyone talks to each other, and there are so many different industries that are a part of this group. So that's really fun to see too.
Yeah, having the right environment, feeling like the right. I think what makes Pro a little different is who you are is who you are.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to have your business suit on. You kind of come in with whatever your face is, and
Yep.
and I think understanding that networking takes time.
Yep.
Like some people, I think people come in, they think you're going to give your card, and if you don't get a sale from them, you don't hear from them, it was not worth your time. But how long does it typically take you to build a relationship?
Oh gosh, at least, a couple different interactions.
Yeah. Okay, so we said it's not like HGTV. Your life's not like that.
Yeah.
What does a day look like for you?
Oh gosh, every day is crazy. Just when you think, oh, I'm going to have a light day and check my emails and get caught up. Then, there's a fire over here. Or someone in a different location has a fire.
So do you like the change? That every day is different?
Oh yeah, I love the change. I thrive on the change.
So managing people, I'm new to that as well, right? I have 2 new staff, which is fantastic, but it is something to learn. It is a skill to acquire. What is your advice for someone like myself or others that are taking on staff? What have you learned about being a better leader?
Yeah. Well, Brene Brown always says, people are just people. And, people are people, and managing, you have to be good with people and be able to, understand what makes them tick and learn about their personality. And they don't really care what you know until they know that you care.
So what is a day like for you when you're not working? What's Sadie doing on a Saturday?
Hopefully, if I'm not at a soccer game, I'm going to yoga. I love doing hot yoga.
With 2026, did you set a resolution? Are you a resolution person?
Yeah, kind of. My word for this year was innovation.
Sweatpants or dress clothes?
I love dressing up.
You do?
I do.
Why? What's
I don't know. I've just always been that way. Even, like growing up when we would like go to Kmart with my mom, I would always like just try to look nice. I don't know. It's ingrained so far in me. I can't get it.
So you're the gal when the ladies are getting together and we're like, let's just hang out, and everyone's in sweatsuit and you're coming in top 9. And we're like, Sadie's always dressed so cute.
My friends, they'll text me like, we're just wearing sweatpants tonight.
Yep.
So,
yeah, I knew you were the one we got it for, like, and you're like, I'll wear sweatpants and a dress shirt. Sadie, you've mentioned the importance of education, the reading the books. What type of, do you continue education, like courses or trainings that are essential to the marketing design side?
Oh, yeah. ASID and NKBA both offer a ton of different CEU offerings, both in person and online. So I do a lot of that too.
Awesome. What type of courses, or what do you suggest right now? Like, what is some type of elements that are key to design world right now?
Gosh, I mean, AI is huge. A lot of people, we're just kind of figuring out, how do we use this? Everyone's like, is it going to replace designers? And, I don't think so. I think there's a way to have both and use them and enhance your design creativity with the AI. So I personally have been doing a lot of research with the AI too.
There is a lot, and it's so much, right? Like just learning how to automate emails is one step alone, let alone designing an entire project with it. Mm-hmm. What is some piece that you've learned right now that with AI that you think is an awesome feature that you would utilize?
Well, I love writing email replies with my ChatGPT. Just, like, can you make this sound a little friendlier?
What is one feature you see maybe should steer away from, especially on the design side?
I think just being a little careful with it and, not expecting too much out of it.
Sure.
Yeah. And it might tell you things that aren't true.
Right. So people say, like, the question is, right, the fear is it may replace jobs, employees, and it could some perhaps like streamlining. But where do you think on the design it's key to work with an in-person over an AI product? Yeah,
I mean, the designer's going to work with you. They're going to know you. Your ChatGPT doesn't know you. It's not going to know how you want to organize your space or how you want the space to feel. So working with the designer, one-on-one, the human interaction is still going to be key.
We talked about the importance of education in the field, just in general for everybody involved, running a business, whether you are working for one or running one, education's key. Or you're a big part of our designer roundtable side, which they get together and talk about business. Tell us a little bit more about what that entails.
Yeah, the roundtable is a great, it's a smaller group, so you really get to have that group interaction and get really deep in subjects. You're not just at a happy hour event networking, quick 5 minutes. It's a full 2 hours that we're there talking about. There's usually a topic that we all talk about. And so that's been a really great thing, just coming together every other month on a Friday morning and just being together and, learning more about each other and helping with each other's businesses.
That's kind of where we talk about that mentorship comes in place, right? Because you guys are learning from others that are in the same shoes as you or encountering them or have walked in them.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And a lot of times we all have the same problems.
And what's so cool about that type of stuff is like the roundtable is we say this all the time about the organization. It is collaborative over competitive. You guys are all working in the same field, but you are working together to raise the industry to a higher point so that consumers have a better experience, a contractor has a better experience, you as designers have a better experience. What is something that you think you've learned from that roundtable that's been beneficial to you?
Probably just, all the different professionals that are out there and everything that we have to offer. It's been really, really interesting kind of hearing how, we all kind of do the same thing, but hearing how everyone runs their business and overcomes challenges differently has been really interesting.
And you're building relationships at the same time with people that should be your competitors, but really, I've seen you gals go out for coffee or lunch or whatever because you start to build friendships beyond the organization. So that's fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely.
What is some of the best advice you've ever heard or learned?
I mean, just probably always keep learning and, being quiet is something that's really hard to do, and listening to people. Listening is a skill that's a really hard skill to master because we want to talk about ourselves, we want to talk. And so just sitting back and being quiet and listening to people, truly listening to them was probably some good advice that I got.
Very good. Because how many times, right, we're hearing what someone says and what are we doing? We're thinking about how we're going to respond instead of what you're actually saying. Yep. So I think that is very good advice here. You can learn a lot the more you listen and feel that person.
Yeah.
Instagram or Facebook?
Instagram. Yeah. Even though, I grew up with Facebook.
If you would have to pick a theme song for yourself, you're walking up, what would it be?
I mean, it'd be something from the Spice Girls.
Spice Girls, that's hilarious. Key advice, if you're going to leave with a designer and they're like, what's the one thing I need to be doing every single day? What would you tell them?
Expecting that you're not going to be fluffing pillows and just picking things out. It's not all glamorous as it looks like. There's a lot of, time on the computer and paperwork and ordering and checking orders that people don't always expect.
Very technical. And even numbers, right? Like you really do. There's a lot of measurements. It is not just picking pillows. There's a lot of measurements and things that are important and key to a complete design being done correctly.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And even, like on the finance side too, a lot of designers own their own businesses. And so just, making sure you're taking some business classes with it too, because you will be doing accounting. You will be, forecasting your sales and profit margins and all that kind of stuff. So definitely taking business classes and learning how to run a business.
So there really is importance of knowing the difference between a decorator versus interior design side, really.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah. Do not call a designer a decorator.
No.
Unless you really want to tick them off and see an angry face. Yeah.
That's good to know for all the consumers. They are not decorators.
Don't say decorator.
There's a lot that goes into, like you said, a lot of education. Really is very thorough. Well, Sadie, it was fantastic having you on our show today. You did a great job.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This was fun.
This episode is brought to you by Signovation, where brands show up and win.